As Newcastle United trample over the Red Devils, we do the match review, but most importantly, also, we do the mid-season checkup. Are Newcastle looking healthy or are there worrying signs? Let's find out here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Share. And now Murphy could take on the shot. Fabian Share
Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. How are you all doing? Where are you guys all listening from this evening? What a perfect result for Newcastle United 2-0. 2-0 against Manchester United at the Old Trafford. We have obviously also put away some of the bad record we've had at Old Trafford over the years. So, real kind of respect to Man United in terms of, um, you know, they. It wasn't an easy result by any means. Obviously, the first 20, 30 minutes or so. Well, let me know what you guys, first of all, think of the game as well. But for me, the first 20, I'm already kind of going into it, but like the first 20, 30 minutes, it was a mauling. It was us all over them. Obviously, their starting lineup of Ericsson and Casemiro in the middle of the park was never, ever going to keep us at bay in terms of out of Bruno Gomes, Tonali, Joe Linton, and those guys. Goodness gracious, did they work hard through that evening? Did they look amazing? I don't know if you guys saw towards 80th minute, for instance, Bruno did a recovery run. I can't remember who he tackled, and at the same time he ran with the ball and he nutmegged Maino at the same time. Before kind of earning a throw in and stuff like that. I want to say I'm probably giving away my man of the match here, but it's that kind of stuff. It's that kind of incredible ability and everything that Newcastle did that really stood out in that game. And there's so much to cover, and I've already got some comments in here as well. For this evening, folks, I'm going to obviously do a review of today's game, but I'm also going to do a mid-season checkup with you guys about Newcastle United because it's been 19 games. 19 games and 32 points, guys. Where are Newcastle? We're going to do a little season. We'll do a health checkup. We'll look at the vital signs. How is Newcastle? What is happening with them? The good, the bad, and the uglies. Where are we heading to? That's what we're going to be examining here as well. So it's a bit of a big show before, obviously, 2025. But it's a great way to end 2024 and enter into 2025 as well. I think as well for us as a channel and for Newcastle United. So I'm looking forward to it. So before I go into some of the stats of the game, I got our first. Excuse me. In fact, I'm going to get a water, guys. Just give me one moment. I'm going to get a water. I'm already I'm forgetting my drink. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. I got my water there. I got a first comment as well. Liam knows. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you are well. Evening, Philip. Nothing worrying. Blew them away in the first half. Yes, we did. Contained them playing in the second. Yeah. Couple of half chances for them. Great result. Bruno loving playing Casemiro. Yeah. I mean, Bruno couldn't believe his luck in the middle of that pitch. What was happening? We were doing 1-2s past Ericsson and things like that. Bruno and Joe Linton. Phenomenal display. Though I would say that Man United had more than half chances. I think obviously that kind of share mistake. They made it look like half chances, but there were clear chances, like the share mistake that passed to Mainu, and then Casemiro had a chance, for instance. Someone hit the post. Was it Maguire that hit the post? I think Hoyland missed a chance as well. But they had good chances, but they made them look like half. They turned a good chance into a half chance. That's how, kind of poor in front of goal they were. But let's look at the stats. I was actually, let's look at the stats for today's game. Hopefully they've, with today's technology, they've got them up. Have I got it have I got it where I want it to be? Do I usually, I want to go, let's go on Sofa Score. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yeah, you guys can see that. Right, let me refresh the screen because it's still got the Aston Villa one. Man United, here we go. 5 wins on the road, guys. Great stuff. Haven't seen that since 21-22. Was it 21-22 season that we went to the Champions League, or 22-23? You'll have to let me know. I think it was 21-22 season. Right. So let's a quick overview of today's game. Obviously, 2-0. Joe Linton and Isak in the 4th minute. We're loving those early goals right now. We're loving those quick starts. That's really helping us at the moment. Just setting the tone for the game, because we score first, we score early, we score first. Teams have to come out and play, and they do not want to come out and play against Newcastle because, man to man in the open field, I think we back ourselves, especially physically and technically, against most teams, in my opinion. So look at this attacking momentum here. We're in the blue, Man United in the green. Obviously, that first half that we talked about, that first 20, 25, 20, 30 minutes maybe, the game finished then. Like it started, then it finished then. Like the momentum was tremendous. Everything that we did then. Obviously, second half came around. Man United changed a bit. They started playing in a 5-4-1 formation. They put Mainu in the middle as well. I can't remember when he came on. And that kind of shored things up for them. Added a little bit of legs in there. And so our momentum, our kind of attacking momentum, was a little bit, because it was a little bit more limited compared to what it was in the first half. But as Liam points out, and it is I think we didn't need to press our foot to the ground that much, at all. And we could have, and there wasn't a need to do that, to open ourselves up in that way. And we contained them. In my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, because there's a one-on-one that Isak had. And for me, this must be like the 4th or 5th one-on-one Isak's had in the last 5 or 6 games or so. And he's missed all of them. I'm not going to say, because it's Isak, I dare not say at the moment that it's a concern, but it's a concern. I'm looking at it. I'm like, it doesn't. It's not that he looks uncomfortable, obviously, or he's not he's Mr. Ice Cool, but he was too cool today. He tried to chip it, and I just think Isak, just put your foot through it sometimes. And I know he can do the chipping it over the heads of the keepers and stuff like that, but I just think, you know what, we need you to just put them away, because that would have been 3-0. And Man United wouldn't have had that little. They had a bit of a spell in the, like, from the 45th minute to, I don't know, 55th, 60th minute, 65th minute. And I think if Isak put that goal away, we would have won the game. So let's look at the stats. 53% possession to Man United. It's not unsurprising. They do average generally really, really good possession stats, but how effective is that possession is the word. Even though we had a 47% possession, I have a feeling that we also gave away the ball a lot, which just gave it to them to kind of attack us, really, to come at us as well, in my opinion. But yeah, 53% to them. Expected goals, they're on 0.08. Like I said, they hit the bar, they hit the post, excuse me. They had a chance that turned into a half chance when Shea gave the ball away to Mainu. There's a couple of other situations that didn't quite materialize for them. They did have like some block shots on our penalty line, on our penalty box. Like, I think Mainu had one, Hoyland as well, a couple half chances. And I saw, obviously, I don't know if you guys remember when the ball came in from a set piece, Hoyland chested it down, and Lewis Hall, he's maturing so well as a left back in his defensive response. We all know about the technical aspects of Hall's got that naturally. Like, he's naturally a technical player. I remember watching him, I think it was against Palace, and this is before he was really like a first teamer. He was on the bench, actually, and it was during the half time. I think it's a game where we lost 2-0 last year. And at halftime when the players come on to warm up, he came on to warm up, and just seeing him pass the ball, do the long balls. He's naturally a technical player, really good to watch. Like, he loves the ball at his feet, but his defensive responsibility, he just edged Hoyland out of the way, and just took the ball on. It was magnificent, brilliant from him. Four big chances. Is it four? Yeah, four big chances to us. Like I said, Isak missed one. One-on-one, which was annoying. Two to them. They did have big chances, guys. 12 shots to us, 10 to them. Their goalkeeper had to make 2 saves. Our goalkeeper didn't have to make any saves. 3 corner kicks to us, 2 to them. They had 575 passes to our 509, so not too much into it. They had the more tackles. We had the more free kicks. Total shots, 12 to us, 10 to them. Shots on target, 4 to us, 1 to them. Good to see that. We both hit the woodwork. When did we hit the woodwork? Do you guys remember when we hit the woodwork? I've totally forgotten. If you guys know in the chat, do let me know when we hit the woodwork. I can't remember. Shots off target, 5 to them, 4 to us. Block shots, 4. Yeah, like I said, there's been a few real kind of block shots, 7 shots each in terms of shots inside the box, 5 outside the box to us, 3 to them. Good stuff. Again, their attacks are predominantly down their left. I think that's was that the Mazraoui side down their left, or was it Dallo? I think it was the Dallo side. Whereas we were on our right through Murphy again, who had a decent game, really disciplined in his defensive work, I thought, making sure Dallo didn't get too much joy. So that was good to see. Big chances scored. That's 1 for us, 0 to them. Big chances missed. We missed 3 big chances to their 2, which was annoying. Touches in the penalty area. Now, in the last 4 or 5 games, we've been having somewhere like 35 plus 40s, 49 kind of touches in the area. Again, like I said to you guys in the preview, Man United are a defensively sound team. It's the attacking stuff that wasn't really good where they were lacking at, as well as obviously the physicality and all that other stuff. But defensively, they were really good. We only had 19 touches in their box to their 17. And there's an argument to say that, look, the game was already dead and buried. I wouldn't be surprised, for instance, if like maybe 17, 16 of our touches of that 19 were in the first half. The game, there's an argument to say the game was already dead and buried in the first half before anything. Final entries, accurate passes, 435 to us, 498 to theirs. Final third phase, 80% for us. Again, the quality in our passing in the final third as it continues to improve. 80% to us, 70 as opposed to their 73%. Like, good stuff, good quality work from us. Jules, we won, and I was saying to you, we was talking before about the importance of us improving in our duels, showing our intensity. 51% to us to 49% to them. We were dispossessed a little bit more times, but I would argue that's because we were in the more threatening positions, but also we were taking a lot more. I can't. We'll see where the key passes are, but I think we were a little bit more risky in our passing than Man United were. Ground duels, 51% to us, 49% to there, 50-50 on the aerial duels. Shows our intensity. Dribbles 32% to theirs, 29%. Good stuff again. Quality from us. 68% tackles won to their 50. Kind of again showing our physicality, our ability on the ball, everything that we're able to do. Very, very, very good from us. 8 interceptions to their 9. Again, showing our positioning and structure is really, really good. 15 clearances to theirs 10. Really good. And obviously one area that led to a shot, and that's obviously the sharp pass to Mainu. Really, really, really good stuff. Dubravka didn't have anything to do, so he had 0% of goals prevented as well. So, Dubravka had a fairly quiet evening. Look, what do you guys make of that game? For me, it was a dominant display. Who was your man of the match as well? Again, for me, it was a dominant display for us, and particularly in the first half. So it was a more controlled display in the second half. I'm sure Man United folks would argue that it's fair enough. They had chances as well. They when they had a little bit more legs, and when Mainu was introduced in the second half, in the middle of the park. They had a little bit more legs. They were able to, I don't think we had one shot, maybe or one shot in that second half. So fair play to Man United, but it was too late. It was just a control performance from us, really. Like it was a job done type of situation into the new year, and 32 points, good stuff. So before I go into concluding that part in terms of the match review and giving you my man on the match, let's read the comments and see what you guys are up to. Keeping it tuned. Welcome. Good to see you, sir. Hope you are well. Hey, Philip. Hope you're well, mate. What a win. Yes. There was only one United. There is only one United. The real United. And they're in black and white. And that's the team playing in black and white. Exactly. I didn't even know that you said that. Look like we're in one mind there. Dubs for 4 clean sheets. Excellent stuff. Exactly. Dubs 4 clean sheets in a row. And that's more than Pope this season. Dubs, the real number one. I don't know if I'll go. I can see where you're going for that. I think Dubs also caught the team as, in an upward trajectory. And there's an argument to say that maybe if Pope hung around, that didn't get injured, he might have got the clean sheets. But that's not taken away. I mean, like even for instance, like I said, reading out the stats in this game, Dubs didn't have one save to make. Which shows you how good defensively we have been. But I know what you mean. He's been excellent though, claiming the ball, making saves on called upon, his distribution, excellent. Another one from Keeping It Tuned. Dubs. Oh no, have I read that one? Yeah, I did read that one. And finally, Tonali smacked the post in the first half. Okay. I must have missed that one. I think my stream did have a little issues in the first couple of minutes or so. Okay. So Tonali again pressing forward. So look, for the match review, like before I go into the mid-season checkup, for the match review, we were that's the other thing I wanted to see. No. Let me see the player stats real quick. Where are you? Here we go. So for score, because I'm about to name my man of the match. Let me know who you guys' man of the match is. Again, between us and Man United, we're just incredible. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yes, you can. Let me know who your man of the match is. Before we move on to the mid-season check summary. Okay, so from attack point of view, who's had the more shots on target? Obviously, Alexander Isak, incredible again. Another goal for him. I think, what is he on? I don't know how many GAs on at the moment. I think he's got 4 assists and like maybe 9 goals. Maybe more heading into double figures into the new year. Brilliant stuff. Dribbles attempted, 8 attempts, really good from him. He connected so well with our midfield. And when he gets on that ball, he turns and some of the skills he was doing it's just exceptional, man. Like honestly, incredible stuff. From him, even Lewis Hall got something. Joe Linton had some shots on target. Expected goals good from Alexander Isak, 0.84, and obviously got the goals. Yeah, you're right. Got that, obviously hit that post for Sandro Tonali, 0.58. Joe Linton did his thing as well. Gordon a little bit quieter in terms of the attacking side of things, but still worked really, really hard, in particularly off the ball. Some shots off target for a couple of our players, Hall, Joe Linton, Anthony Gordon. A couple block shots as well. We're putting it about. Dribbles. Who had the most dribbles attempted? Isak, excellent to him. Bruno. I'm sure there was more successful shots than that for Bruno, in my opinion. He done really, really well. Big chances missed for Alexander Isak. Yep, that one-on-one. And Anthony Gordon. Where did he miss a big chance? I'm forgetting all of it. All I remember is 2-0 to the Toon. That's what I remember. Right, defensive actions. We know defensive actions, carries everything. Tackling, clearances, ground duels, aerial duels, all of the good stuff there. Dan Burnley, and you know what, Dan Burnley is just unsung hero. He was phenomenal today again. People always say in pre-match previews, especially rivals, say, you've got no pace in the back. That's where your weakness is. And to an extent, they are right. However, you still have to beat the excellent Dan Burn and Shaw, and they're failing to do so. It's another clean sheet for the Toon. Dan Burn, 13 defensive actions, so 6 to Fabian's 5 to Anthony Gordon. His recovery runs and everything else, he was, kind of leading as well in the pressing from the front, doing really well. Bruno 5 again, Lewis Hall 4, Kieran Trippier 4, who came off again with holding his hamstring. I don't know what's going on with that. He keeps on playing. I don't know if it's a thing where we're doing a bit of dark arts here that we usually do with Share, or it's like a situation. I'm surprised, between James Bunce, Eddie Howe, and everybody else, he's playing again. But if he really has a serious hamstring issue, I don't know how he's doing that. But here we are on 3 defensive actions for Mr. Jacob Murphy. And Dan Burn obviously leads the clearances, especially headering his aerial ability. Fabian Schade and Lewis Hall as well, doing absolutely phenomenal. Block shots, who's blocking the shots? Lewis Hall, excellent. Dan Burn, Gordon, Bruno, Sandro Tonali. So our midfielders, getting out there and kind of making sure that, putting their bodies in the line as always. Interceptions, again, being there at the right time, cutting out the passes, making sure teams can't get through us. Kieran Trippier, excellent. Dan Burn, Anthony Gordon, Bruno, Jacob Murphy, fantastic. Tackles, 4 to Burn, Bruno again, 3, Shaw 3. Just people are just being just excellent passing. Who's getting the most touches this one? Bruno Gomes dictating the play. Short passes, long passes, just controlling the tempo if things are getting a little bit on top. Then it's Sandro Tonali, of course. Kieran Trippier, of course, and is in equal numbers with Fabian Schär. Really, that's our technical players getting on the ball, including Lewis Hall. Like I was saying earlier, that responsibility is being shared around now between our technical players as we're getting better. Lewis Hall, 62, Dan Burn, 55, Joe Linton on 47, Isak, and these are good numbers for a forward, 46. Dubravka, 42. I wonder what the average is for Pope. But this is quite high for. I don't know if Pope gets as much as this. I don't think he's as. I'm sure Dubravka must be a little bit higher. So good stuff from him. Anthony Gordon, 41 again. So our forwards have been really, really involved. Lewis Hall, in terms of duels overall, including aerial and ground. Bruno, 16 attempted duels, 7-1. Incredible. Dan Burn, 14 attempted, 11-1. Isak, 14 with 6-1. Lewis Hall, exceptional again, 8 attempted, 4-1. Shaw, 8 attempted, 4-1. Good stuff. I'm so, if you guys can't tell, there's nothing for Dubravka because he had nothing to do. It's not because he had a poor game, he just had nothing to do because our defense was so incredible. So look, my man of the match, Alexander Isak. I was going to go to Bruno, but just, again, reading the last parts of it here, Isak did put himself, not only did he get the goal and connected himself with our midfield and kind of always being dangerous as soon as he gets the ball and is able to dribble past people, but he's pressing, him leading from the front, him also doing the defensive work and helping out the midfield, helping out the defense, especially in the set pieces. Absolutely incredible. So for me, Isak, I think this is the second game running maybe, Isak is man of the match. So before I go into that's my conclusion of the review. Exceptional from Newcastle United. Well deserved from Newcastle United victory. No fluke, no happenstance about it. Nobody was lucky. It was from back to front to back. Our team was absolutely exceptional in every area of the pitch, in my opinion. Obviously, so I give it to Alexander Isak. Absolutely brilliant. So guys, let me know before we move on to the mid-season checkup, and we're seeing how, after 19 Premier League games, how are the Toon doing? And we'll obviously include a little bit of the League Cup stuff as well, because again, we've got a big old semi-final to go to once again. Keeping it Toon, Isak is your man of the match as well. Yeah, we fully agree with you there. Keeping it Toon, Shaw suspended. Yeah, that's an interesting one, because then suspended for next game, which means Kelly will be back in. Yeah, we'll have 2 left-footed centre-backs. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I don't rate him. Wish Botman was back sooner. I can see where you're coming from, but you know what I wonder, Toon? How does Kelly play next to Dan Burn? Because Dan Burn will be doing the heavy lifting, I would say, in terms of the aerial duels and stuff like that. And I think Lloyd Kelly can do what he's good at, which is obviously his pace and athleticism, kind of doing the interception work and stuff like that. And he's got a little bit more pace, obviously a lot more pace than Shaw, but also he's good at with the ball as well, passing and breaking the lines as well. So I wonder if we'll see if we see Kelly excel a little bit besides Dan Burn. Let's see. That's my little think about it as well. And by the grace of God, hopefully we'll see Botman back on the bench at least in the next game or two. Let's see what happens. Inconsistent Mag FC. I don't know if it's your first time on here. If I can't remember, but if it is, welcome to the channel, Inconsistent Mag FC, and God bless you. Thank you for joining us this evening. You could have been anywhere else in the world today, but you chose to be on Toon Tactics TV. So God bless you for that. So Inconsistent Mag FC says, "Hi, was Isak even offside for his second goal? Ref, so I don't swear. Yeah, well, he wasn't when the ball first came in. I thought, but then it hit off a player. And when it hit off, like the second time round, it came off a player in that passage of play. I mean, that's when he was offside. But I thought if it comes off a player, then are you still offside? I don't know. It was a great finish, though. It was a great finish. Keeping it tuned, and thanks for your comment there. Keeping it tuned, just need Liverpool to slip up, and the title is ours. Whey! Whoa, Chelsea slipped up today against Ipswich. At Ipswich, they lost 2-0. Look, beating Ipswich away is not for everybody. Just need Liverpool to slip up, and the title, yeah, we're unstoppable right now. We're playing well. At the end of the day, we're playing well, and I understand in the pre-match previews I saw, and I know social media is social media, innit? But people, you know, a few folks are like, "Oh, Rashford's back," and we can just imagine that, you know, it's going to be Man United. It's just Newcastle. It's just what we're like. And I'm like, I understand it. I was those guys. You know, I've supported Newcastle for nearly 30 years. I understand. I've been there, like in terms of that, the crazy stuff that we're capable to do. But I have a quiet confidence, not an arrogant confidence. I don't think I've got quiet confidence in the Newcastle that we're seeing right now, who are playing well. And it's to the point where, similar to the 21-22 season, if any of you guys remember, where I just said, we were playing in a way where I said to myself, you know what? Our performances are so good that, look, if the result doesn't go our way, if a team beats us or we get an unlucky draw where, that, you know, whatever, I'm not so angry about it or frustrated or disappointed, because to beat us in that kind of in the kind of form and performance we're doing, that you got to be a really good team or a very lucky one, and I can live with that. I couldn't live with it when we were scared to play football. We were always on the defensive. That's when I was angry. That's when I was frustrated. That's when I was disappointed. You know, so maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not overly, you know, like if Man United, which didn't happen by the grace of God, were to beat us today, and we performed how we performed against Villa, that means Man United would have had to put on an incredible performance. And what can you do? That's what happens. But they didn't, and we were just a better team, and our quality shown. That's just what it is. Inconsistent Mag was here before. God, my apologies, sir. Great to have you as well. Good to have you back then. And thank you again for returning to watch the show. And please do continue coming. Appreciate you. Who was your man of the match as well? I don't know if you said Inconsistent Mag. I said Isak was my man of the match. Keeping it tuned said Isak was his man of the match. Who was your man of the match? Inconsistent Mag. Do let me know. And everybody else. And before I move on to the mid-season check, one more comment here from Keeping It Tuned. Man United have Liverpool next. Oh, matey. Goodness. And that's Anfield. Woo! I wouldn't trade all the whiskey in Ireland for that game. if I was Man United. It doesn't get any better for them. It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. Goodness me. Oh, yo, 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 yo. That's going to hurt. Liverpool are going to, they're going to take their time on this one. All right. Mid-season checkup. So, game review, excellent as always. From back to front, from the back to our defense. Shaw, Dan Burn, incredible performance again. Lewis Hall, Kieran Trippier, just being excellent. Our midfield did what we predicted our midfield would do, which is dominate the midfield, physically, technically, doing everything correct. Isak, Gordon, Murphy, pressing up against their defense. They knew they couldn't handle it. But Isak again, my man of the match. Excellent. Not just in his attacking play, but connecting with the midfield. His running on and off the ball, running at defenders constantly, connecting them with Gordon, connecting on the other side of Murphy, connecting with the defense. Also in his defensive action, really, really good. So Isak gets my man of the match. Though my only annoyance or a little bit concern is his one-on-ones with the goalkeepers. This is like the 4th or 5th time I've seen him. Would I go as far as to say fluffing his lines? Yeah, like just not doing well, not doing what we know Isak can do. And so I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm keeping an eye on that. All right, so let's do it. How are Newcastle doing right now, guys? And obviously, some of the stats I'm looking at won't include this game, so we'll have to just caveat that a little bit for Newcastle. So how are Newcastle doing, and where do I want to start? Let me start from the beginning. Well, I'll be going back to our previous review, which happened like halfway through after 8 or 9, 7 or 8 games or so, as well. So I'll be kind of going back to that and mentioning some of the stuff from there. Where are we? Here we go. Where do you guys? By the way, where are we? I'll look in the stats in a moment. So yeah, that was the game review for today, and if you guys can see that, we won. Obviously, did really, really well. Mid-season checkup. So we haven't got 29 points. We've now got 32 points on the board with not 8 wins, but 9 wins. Brilliant. 5 drawn and 5 games lost. We're currently on the back of a 5-game winning streak with about 4 clean sheets within that time. 4 out of 5. Excellent. I'm in 2 minds where I want to start. Okay, let me go back to just overall stats on FOTMob that they've got for us, and then I'll go back to my presentation here as well, because I've got a couple of things I want to mention from there before we go on to other things. Let me share my screen here. Got a couple comments as well. Liverpool keeping it to Liverpool will batter Man United like the local chippy batters their cod. Oh my word! Inconsistent Mag FC didn't really pick one, but if I had to choose, probably Isak. And I wonder, like I've been saying the last couple of games, it's so hard to choose a man of the match because the whole team is playing well. So, I agree with you. We'll go with Isak as well. BDB, exactly. Also, shout out for keeping Højlund quiet tonight. Exactly. That's a really good call. BDB putting his body on the line. And he's one of those guys, I feel like, who when things aren't going well, fans really like to pick on him and Longstaff. But look how excellent he is, playing for the Toon, playing for his local club, doing absolutely brilliant. So let's have a look at our overall stats for the season before we look at other things as well. Other stats that I find quite intriguing about Newcastle United. Let me get that down. Here we go. This is us, table stats. The team is United, the Newcastle United, the real United. Here we go. Make sure you guys can see that. Excelente. All right. So look, FOTMob rating. Obviously, everyone's got their own different ratings. And don't include the Man United game just yet. So some of these stats are a little bit behind, but that's fine. When FOTMob rates you, obviously it's rating you over fact, hold on. Where are we? Where are we in the table? First of all, I didn't even check the table. It's funny because I'm more focused on our points than I am on the table. Where are we in the table as it things stand? Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. All right. We're back to fifth. Excellent. Um, above Man City, who won their game as well. Chelsea, 4 points behind Chelsea as they lost as well. We played 19 games. We are fifth with, yeah, obviously 19 games played, 9 wins, 5 draws, 5 defeats. How many goals scored? 32 goals scored now. 32 goals scored, which is excellent, and 21 conceded with a plus 11 goal difference, which is brilliant. And I think your goal difference says a lot in terms of how you're performing defensively and offensively, obviously. And Newcastle are in an upward trajectory. Obviously, four games won in the last 5. And in terms of the league itself, with I think clean sheets in all those games. The only non clean sheet, 4-0 Leicester, 4-0 against Ipswich Town, 3-0 against Villa, and 2-0 against Man United. And it feels and it sounds so good reading out those stats right there, I think. So overall stats for the season so far. I don't know if this includes the Man United one. I hope it does. But if it doesn't, still really good. Overall football rating, they've got us 8th in the league. In terms of overall performance, obviously they're taking everything into account: defensively, offensively, tackles, draws, shots received, and everything like that. And they've got us 8th at the moment. And you know what? I'm not going to argue that too much because the teams that are the only one I would argue is Tottenham being above us, and I'm sure they got. I think maybe their attacking stats so far a little bit ahead of us. I think they scored a little bit more goals than us. But Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest are having a really, really good seasons at the moment. And so I kind of respect it. Goals per match, we've moved up into 6th, 1.7. I'm sure that's improving as well. Like we were talking about in our preview for the Man United game, we're getting into the box way more with a lot more key passes, a lot more direct play, a lot more going on in terms of shots and shots creating actions, shots on target, off target, block shots has increased dramatically. And as a result of that, so have our goals. So that's really, really good from us. We were suffering from that for you guys that follow the channel. Obviously, we did the review 6 or 7 games into the season, and we were struggling in terms of our goals, and we were struggling. We were a little bit tight and defensively, but we were struggling in terms of offensively. That is now improving. We're going to talk about why that is improving as well. Goals conceded per match puts us 4th. It doesn't mean that we're 4th like worst. It means that we're pretty good because we're 1-1. That needs to reduce a little bit more. Obviously, we don't want to be like, at the moment, we're pretty much on for conceding goals, but 4 clean sheets in the last 5 shows that we're improving. We're in very good company. If you guys can see it here, we are in very, very, very good company with Arsenal, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. We beat 3-1, by the way. Arsenal conceded 16 goals. Liverpool conceded 17. Nottingham Forest conceded 19. We've conceded 21. We're in very, very good company in terms of goals conceded, and we want to see that improve. And it's not alien to Newcastle. Remember, in that season, we qualified for the Champions League. We were the joint top best defense in the league with Man City. And obviously, after that is Chelsea and Bournemouth. So, again, very proud of the team. Defensively, we're doing very well. And obviously, just those stats were, offensively, we're doing better. Average possession, again, like I always say, I don't look too much into it because different teams have different styles of play and what they do and what that possession actually means. But having 50% of the ball isn't always the bad thing. It does give an indicator if you're able to dictate the play. And if you take, for instance, today's game as an example, we saw Bruno doing and others, we were doing that. We're doing that a lot more better. I do want to maybe in these type of games to be a little bit more patient with it, but I'm nitpicking here, but it's important. It's important to kind of notice these things even when you're winning. So we're doing better. We are on 7. I repeat, 7 clean sheets. We are 3rd in the league with clean sheets. Again, showing our defensive attributes of only Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, who are joint top ahead of us, who have 8 clean sheets. We're joint top of third with Arsenal and Everton. And Man United, again, Man United a good side defensively. So getting 2-0 at Old Trafford today is nothing to, to kind of to take lightly. Today was a very, very, very good result. Very good result. And well deserved. So again, our defensive output is shining. Expected goals have improved. Guys, we were low on expected goals. We were mid-table up until the last 5 or 6 games. We've improved on that with 32.6 now. We are in 6th in the league for that. How many goals have we actually got in the league again? Was it 31? So we're just below our XG. So that again lets me know, yes, we're doing well in our attacking output, but we've got maybe another gear that we can get into, which is really, really exciting for me. Again, shots on target needs to improve per match is 4.6. We're 13th for that. I wonder why it's... I mean, nearly 5 shots on target isn't a bad thing, to be honest. But you want to see that improve. That's what I mean. I think there's another gear, maybe 2 that Newcastle can go up. Big chances. We're 9th in the league for that. I think we can do again. I think we can do even better, and I'm sure that's improved over the last 4 or 5 games. 4 or 5 big chances missed. We're 10th, which is I don't want to be in the highest. I mean, maybe we're just doing really well converting. In my opinion, accurate passes, we're pretty much mid-table. And with accurate passes, just it's another one where another one where we need to, I think, improve on as well. Doing really well. Accurate crosses per match. Crosses is a funny one, isn't it? Because not many people do crosses too much nowadays as well. But we're 9th in the league for that. And something to look at and to improve on. We've had 2 penalties, one we scored and one we missed, which is both Anthony Gordon. So again, but I think the more time we spend in the penalty box, as we have been in the last 4 or 5 games, the more penalties we get. And if you watch Bournemouth and you watch Liverpool, they spend quite a bit of time in the opposition's penalty box, especially winning the ball up high. Speaking of touches in the opposition box, Newcastle are currently 7th, again in good company. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham ahead of us. Chelsea, Brighton are just ahead of us by about 10 more touches in the penalty box. So, we're not too far. We've just got ourselves again ahead of Bournemouth as of probably in the last couple of games or so, and Villa. Again, I feel like I said, I feel like there's a sense in me that Newcastle can go another gear, maybe another gear and a half, another gear or 2 in their attacking output. And when you're talking about touches in the box, what does that mean? It indicates how dominant a team is in offensively in particular. And it kind of indicates a little other things in terms of maybe in the match, their final entries into the entries in the final third, key passes, forward play, progressive play from players. And I'm sure all those stats are up for Newcastle United. So what these overall stats show to me, let me know what you guys think, is Newcastle, both offensively and defensively, are improving and are in a good space. I feel especially offensively, Newcastle can go another gear or so. And defensively, we're already kind of performing at a good level. Always little things that we can improve upon. I think the main key, though, is maintaining it as well. And I think we're going to talk about the reasons for some of this really good defensive work that we have seen. And before I go into other kind of our performances and other XGs, I'm gonna read the comments as well. Before I do that, I've got a couple notes here. Before I go into that, where are you? Let me get into the comments. see what folks are saying before we kind of again look under the hood, look under the underlying stats and performances here. Keeping it tuned. Big shout out to Hall for diving in front of goal and saving it. He was again, and that's not the first time he's done that. Well spotted and remembered keeping it tuned with his chest. What a save. The kid is a legend already. Evening to you, sir. Wacky Angler 2. Evening to you. Let me know who your man of the match is. And we've done the game review for those folks that are joining a little bit later. But we're now doing the mid-season checkup as well to see where Newcastle are at and where could they be heading to. Keeping it too wacky. All right. So, oops, sorry, I nearly got folks talking amongst themselves there. Great. Struggle to finish your dinner in front of goal at times. After 90 minutes, should have been more. Wacky. Are you? I forgot who you. West. I remember you from. Yeah. Good to see you, Wacky Angler. Good to see you. Yeah. Sorry, good to see. I recognize that name. Keeping it 2 and 7 clean sheets. 4 belong to Dubs. The other 3 to Pope. Yeah, we're sharing them out. Fair play to Dubs. Dubravka stays in goal for me until we can sign another. He's much better distributing. Interested. Agreed. Imagine how solid that backline will be when Sven's fully fit. Oh my, exactly fit, and Tino starts firing on all cylinders again. Yeah, again, this is what I'm talking about. There's another gear, both offensively and defensively. I think Newcastle can go. Trevor, good to see you, sir. My good friend. You guys had a good result tonight. We did. Well deserved, solid performance. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Very, very good and dear friend of mine. All right. So, speaking of stats, I wanted to add a little bit more. This is one from I wanted to touch on from Sanjay on X. I don't know if you guys follow Sanjay. He does. I think he's a professional scout. I forgot to kind of check up on his bio, but he's always comes up with really good stats and stuff like that. I really enjoy his content and his material. I see people sometimes beefing him. Sometimes I do put down to jealousy, in my opinion. I really rate him. I really like him. All right, so Sanjay, NUFC Sanjay put out this stat. Make sure you guys can see that. I always want to make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can there. So he's got kind of Newcastle over the last 18 games. Obviously, he put this out before the Man United game, so it'd be slightly different. And he's got obviously he's got the red line shows. We'll start with the green. The green line shows XG4. So that's Newcastle shot creating actions for Newcastle, and XG against, which is obviously shots against. Excuse me, not shot creating actions. It's a expected goals. So it evaluates the overall quality of our shots and essentially, so where we're taking our shots from and types of shots we're taking, and it kind of shows what we're doing essentially. So what kind of it indicates obviously is how good we are in terms of kind of producing shots on goals, and kind of obviously shows how good our attacking output is. So from that you can also see obviously that's in the green, and shots qualities against as well. So how good are teams able to what's the quality of shots our teams taking against Newcastle United? Are they all having to take pot shots outside the box because they can't get anywhere near our box, or are they having to or are they just getting is Nick Pope or Dubs having to face one-on-one challenges every other game and stuff like that? So, and the other part is you can see also on top of that you can see where he's got the lines of poor performances and results. So when it's yellow, it's a poor performance, but we got results. You guys remember that in the first couple, in the first 4 or 5 games of the season, we had poor performances, but we got results. That includes Southampton, Bournemouth, Tottenham dominated us in St James's Park, but we managed to beat them. I do think against Wolves we played a little bit better, in my opinion, and then obviously that culminated in that horrific, absolutely horrific game against Fulham, and that one's marked in red. And then obviously then we had better performances from that Fulham game on, from starting out with that Man City draw 1-1, if you guys remember. We had better performances, but slightly unlucky with the results, which is true. Then we had obviously Everton. I thought we deserved to win against Everton. Similar to Brighton as well, even though we lost that game against Brighton, I believe I looked for the stats again today. We dominated them: possession, shots on target, turnovers, all these type of things. We dominated them, but we didn't. The main metric we didn't dominate was the goals, which Brighton did. And then Chelsea, we lost 2-1. Chelsea deserved to win that game, but but we had good performances ish, but tactically maybe we set up a little bit badly. So that's maybe from an Eddie Howe point of view. But we improved on that, obviously, in the League Cup. If you guys remember, that followed up from that, we improved really, really well and done really, really well. And then obviously then we had the Arsenal game, beat them 1-0. That was really, really good performance and a good result. That culminated in a much better all-round performance, great performance and great result away to Nottingham Forest. And if you can look at the XG map, shots against, that's when it's really getting into that lowest now as well. It's actually going lower. So defensively, we're improving. But also, if you look at our if you look at our XG in the green, so shots for, the quality of shots for is also getting higher. And that culminated in that game against Nottingham Forest. We then had the international break. And like I was saying at the time, after the Nottingham Forest game, I said, guys, I'm worried that this international break would knock our momentum, and our momentum was really, really good. And it did. And obviously we played West Ham at home, fully expecting to crumple them. But the opposite happened, and they beat us 2-0. It was a weird performance. Parts good, parts bad, but West Ham just took their chances, defended for their lives, and took their chances on the other end. We then had a bad performance, in my opinion, against Crystal Palace, not from a defensive point of view necessarily, but we had 0 shots on target, even though we scored an own goal. In that game, we were lacking a lot of confidence, and you can see the convergence of shots against and shots for. It was very, very average. But then we had that really inspiring, encouraging performance against Liverpool, which ended into a 3-3. We were much more attacking, creating a lot more, and you can see slowly the trajectory beginning to go up in that. But then it took a little fumble against away to Brentford, where we lost 4-2, where we conceded more goals, but we also scored more goals. But it was just a bad errors. And that's what it chalked out to be, because the next 3 games, or the next Premier League games, or 4, should be 4 now. Leicester, Ipswich, Villa, 3-0, and obviously today, 2-0 against Man United. Great performances, excellent performances, got it down here, and good results. We're very much in an upward trajectory. This doesn't include, obviously, the League Cup quarter-final against Brentford. We won 3-1 as well. So we're very much in that upward trajectory, and it's reflective in the stats that I just read out to you guys as well, and it's reflective in our current performances and results. So Newcastle heading to the second part of this stage of the season in an upward trajectory. We only hope to continue it, essentially, and to maintain it. So what's kind of been the causes of that in terms of our upward trajectory? In my previous preview after 6 or 7 games, I was saying to you guys that, our intensity after 6 or 7 games, if we talk about it here, when did I do a review? Around the Everton game, maybe Brighton game, maybe the Fulham game, actually, somewhere around there. And I was saying, we did a review and we're saying, look, our intensity isn't as good as it was, and tactically, and that was kind of revealed from a ground use perspective, which wasn't as high as it could be. For instance, we kind of focused in on that. We also looked at the shape of the team and the structure, where the centre backs were dropping too deep because we were getting caught in transitions a lot, and they were scared because they were scared of getting caught out for pace, for instance. And that created huge gaps between our defence and our midfield. And then that caused the midfield, who were trying to support the attack, but also trying to screen the defence, to having to work twice as hard. And there was huge gaps that were appearing between our defensive line and our midfield, and people were just getting behind that. The midfield then were forced to drag back to try and support the defence, and isolated the likes of Isak and Gordon, who at the time, again, were really struggling, not only just struggling in terms of tactically, but also struggling for form as well in some of these games as well. And so what's changed now is all those three areas, and we're going to talk about them right now. Our intensity has returned, but also our big players, our big performers, our needle movers are now also performing really, really well. They have come into form, and I know when we say there's other players in our team that are playing really well. I know, like Lewis Hall, Dan Burn we just spoke about, Tonali we just spoke about, and those other players as well. Dubravka. When I'm talking about needle movers, I'm not talking about our floor raisers. I'm talking about our needle movers. These are, Isak, Gordon, and Bruno would get in any team in the top 6 of the Premier League, which then also shows that they probably get into most teams, if maybe all teams, elite teams in and around Europe as well. These guys are our needle movers, our ceiling raisers. And if Botman was fit and playing, he would be included in this picture as well. And the more Tonali plays, we'll see if I put him into that bracket as well. But as we know it, as we see, maybe you guys might disagree. You might think we've got other needle movers, other ceiling raisers in our squad. But for me, the first part of what's changed and that's contributed to our upward trajectory in form, especially and particularly over the last 5 games, is our big performance in Alexander Isak, who obviously this is the game before Man United. At the time, he had 11 goals and 4 assists. He now has 12 goals and 4 assists, which means that he's got 16? Is that 16? 16 GA, which is an incredible 16 GA in the last 19 games in the Premier. This is in the Premier League, and so it's only because we've got Mo Salah who makes this look. He's in double figures in both in both goals and assists. This is an incredible return. Alexander's Isak turning form, and it's not just his goals and assists which have been excellent. It's like the stuff that we mentioned in terms of him off the ball. His pressing has been exceptional. He looks like he's enjoying it as well, in my opinion. Connecting with our left flank, right flank, connecting, dropping into the midfield and collecting the ball. Back to goal, turning defenders, turning midfielders, just 1-2 touches constantly. It's been a constant menace. He's so hard for centre backs to pick up, for midfielders to pick up. He's been absolutely exceptional for us as well. Anthony Gordon, 4 goals, 3 assists for him. Who got the assist today? For Isak and was it Gordon that gave the goal? You guys have to give me who gave the assist today to Isak and to Joe Linton. Remind me, guys. But at the moment, Gordon 4 goals, 3 assists, might be more. 4 goals, 3 assists. Again, especially on the left flank, he's just discovered his form a lot more. We talked about before, and what's partly contributed to that is that chemistry, that growing chemistry between him and Joe Linton. Whereas Joe Linton had to adjust. Like Anthony Gordon isn't Willock, who's a very similar profile to Joe Linton. Maybe that's why they played a lot longer together. But Joe Linton's learnt to play with Anthony Gordon, and this has culminated in a very positive chemistry between them. Where now Gordon knows, hey, if I go on the outside, Joe Linton will go to the inside. And he initiates it. If I go on the inside, Joe Linton will go on the outside. So he's got that freedom of, in terms of where he wants to, A, receive the ball, and but B, when he gets the ball, he's got people to pass to. And obviously he's got also Lewis Hall getting him the ball, but also doing those runs, those unselfish runs, selfless runs on the outside, putting off defenders, allowing Gordon to cut in and get shots off, to get passes in and stuff like that. Excellent. So Gordon got another assist today. Thank you for that. So that means he's 4 and 4. So it's 8 GA. So he's a lot more freer. Thank you for that, Inconsistent Mag. Appreciate you. Who got the one for Joe Linton? Was that Lewis Hall or was that Gordon as well? Let me know. Excellent. So he's become free, and again, he's pressing just like Isak from the front. Exceptional. And if you guys notice again, his recovery runs, running back to support the midfield and at times defense as well, supporting Hall as well. Really good. Exceptional. And our captain, Bruno Gomes, again, even showing today, it's like 80 minutes, 85 minutes. You can tell he's leggy, he's tired, and he's still got the time. He's still running back, doing recovery runs, sliding in, and this is all in one. This is all in one play. Sliding in, tackling, getting past the player, not making menu, just doing stuff look, just exceptional stuff. Like he's really turned it up, and we're going to talk about tactically as well. And this is where credit comes to Howe. We're going to talk about it in a moment, which is a nice segue. Obviously, the situation with Tonali, but again, really, really good, really exceptional from him as well. So our needle movers, our game changers, our X factor players, our ceiling raisers, Isak, Gordon, Bruno Gomes have been are one of the key factors, in my opinion, in our turn to form. And I'm going to segue into the tactical changes that Eddie Howe has made that has improved on that, and credit to Eddie Howe for that. But before I do, so the first one is our key players performing well. Before we go into the tactical bit, I'm going to read a few of the comments. There's a few comments here. Inconsistent Mag. So, yeah, Gordon consistent Joe Linton, which is excellent. Keeping it Toon. Hall and Gordon with the assist, I believe. Hall and Gordon, excellent again. Really, really good. Really, really good. Appreciate that. You showing that. Keeping it Toon. Oh, and I missed Inconsistent Mag. Loved it when Isak put the on his. You know what? We need to create a. In fact, I might do this actually. Create a forum of Isak putting defenders on their back, because remember he did it to Van de Ven as well, and make a little forum for that as well. That was crazy. Yeah, Ho with the assist. And Lee. Oh, good to see you, Lee. Good evening to you, sir. God bless. Hi, buddy. Hi to you, sir. I'm late. It's all right. So good. So I will start from the beginning. Fantastic game tonight. The fight for Europe begins. It sure does. It sure does. Let me know, Lee. I don't know if you're still on here, but you might be listening from the beginning. Let me know, Lee, who your man of the match is as well. But good to see you. Good to see you. So look, needle movers, game changers, ceiling raisers are in absolute form right now. And part of what Bruno's has improved Bruno's form is him moving into that hybrid 8 position, hybrid almost 10 position, but he's an 8 really, is a result obviously of Tonali primarily acting as a number 6 and allowing Tonali to push up in a number 8 role, where you've seen an upward increase in his, you guys can see his assists, but also his key passes. Obviously, you saw the against Villa, he was the pass before the assist, he was the pass before the pass that led to the goal. Doing those key passes, those thread to needle through a thread passes as well, doing really well in that spreading the play. We saw that magnificent ball he did against Ipswich as well from across the field on the ground, a little grass cutter there, incredible stuff. And that has been attributed to the tactical change that Eddie Howe has put on. This is the second factor, where Eddie Howe has put Tonali primarily into that number 6 position and has pushed up Joe Linton and Bruno Gomes into those number 8 roles, and that has impacted very positively the Newcastle attack. And this is an example of it. I'm going to go a little bit more tactically. This is just a game. This is in our own half, but you can see a similar thing happen in the second half, where you can see here, obviously, you've got the back four: Hall, Burn, Shaw, and I think that's Trippier. And in that number 6 position, you've got obviously Mr. Tonali. Just ahead of him, you've got Bruno, and just ahead of him, you've got Joe Linton. And obviously, you've got our forwards, our right wing forward, and Murphy just out of the screen there, Gordon, and you got Isak as well. And this, given Tonali that responsibility of receiving the ball, now Bruno is more free to go up and advance. Yes, he obviously drops back. We see him dropping back, collecting the ball as well, and allowing Tonali to push up in that number 8 role. But primarily, Tonali acts in that number 6 position, collecting the ball and passing it over to Joe Linton, to Bruno, and to others as well. And this has freed up a lot of the players around him, including Bruno and others. But it's also given, and I'll go into here, it's also given our backline a lot more confidence to push up. You would have heard me speak earlier about how there was a lack of confidence before, because they weren't really feeling the protection, our backline from our midfield. I forgot this was in PowerPoint. And Tonali's recovery runs, his athleticism, his ability to cover this part of the midfield has really encouraged our defensive backline to push up. So I don't know if you guys saw, Burn was in the opposition penalty box today, and how far they both Burn and Shaw push up at times as well, in kind of affecting the play against and supporting the midfield as well, and pushing up against the opposition attackers as well. And that overall has made Newcastle in fact, let me explain a little bit further what I mean, getting back to the tactical board itself. Let me come out of this and getting into here. What stop sharing that. Tonali has encouraged our defensive backline to do. Is that it? Yeah, here we go. So Tonali, can you guys... here we go. So can you guys see that? Yes, you can. So Tonali dropping in like here, screening our back four, giving them we turn into a back 3 primarily when we got the ball. And because he screens them like that, they're more encouraged to push up like this, and there's less, that gap between our defense and our midfield is reduced. Bruno doesn't have to worry too much. Joe Linton, obviously, they still got defensive duties they've got to do, but when they're advancing, they're not overly concerned, because they know that Tonali is here, making sure, pressing up, supporting in the defensive duels with supporting the defense, our defenders as well. Also, Tonali is good at receiving the ball back to goal. He's press resistant, which frees up Bruno. Bruno obviously still comes back and does that, and it encourages Tonali to do that. But doing this also frees up Bruno to do that. The other key part of it is you can see here, for instance, our fullbacks. As a result of Tonali and Bruno being freed up, our fullback, say for instance, the left side, or either side, we can do it both sides even. But our fullbacks, Lewis Hall can push up like this, for instance, and that allows That allows Gordon, we talked about him, to get into these central areas and really have that freedom to roam around, to dribble past, to take on, to pass, to shoot. And we've seen an upturn in his form. It allows Joe Linton to jump in as well and create these overloads. He's begun to score. He's begun to get assists. And they all push up right next to Isak, who's now even more active because he's got players in and around him, including Bruno and others. And you get these type of overloads that are happening all the time. And defenses are struggling with these type of overloads. And that can be on the left side. That can also be on the right side where Trippier will push up, for instance, and we create these type of triangles. Murphy drops in, gets into the central area right next to Isak, who's then allowed to roam, or he even connects sometimes as well. But he gets into these positions in front of goal where Isak wants to be, and that press, it has had a domino effect that confidence that the centre backs have in their midfield, primarily Tonali, obviously Joe Linton as well, but Tonali screening them, protecting them, has radiated, that confidence has radiated from the defense, goes into the midfield. They're supporting the attack. The fullbacks are encouraged to go forward, and with the fullbacks encouraged to drop forward, to go forward, it has allowed our attacking players to do what they love to do, which is to attack and to be creative and to shoot and to score. And we can see that in the kind of overall stats for the team. So that tactical change combined with the upturn in form of our big players, our needle movers, Isak, Gordon, and Bruno, has added to our change in form and our performance so far. And again, I don't know if you guys would be able to see this. We talked about the overall shape of the team, but you would see that if you can see that because you see just how much, for instance, there's a gap now between our most of these are so the first two are from our, well, where can I say? Where should we start? So, for instance, the first one here against Villa, you can see there's a huge gap between our goalkeeper. If you see the number one, that's our goalkeeper. So it's either, if you see the number one at the top going down, that's Newcastle going down. If you see the number one at the bottom, that's Newcastle going up. But I want you to be able to see that in majority of these games, the gap between the defense and the goalkeeper. So our defense, what it shows is that our defense, encouraged by the screening and the protection of Tonali, has pushed up and is supporting the midfield. And we've seen that effect that we talked about earlier in these games, including Villa, including Ipswich. Ipswich were just a little bit more close to the goalkeeper, but we won 4-0. We was able to control the defense as well very well. But against Brentford, against Leicester, that showed. I wonder what it's like against Manchester United today. But again, a real upturn in form, in our confidence, in our tactical display as well. And the other thing as well, obviously, also we talked about the third and final thing is obviously our intensity. So you can see our players, the shape of our team, a lot more together, working hard for each other. For instance, this is the Leicester City game. You can see just how close they are centrally. The 23-8-7. You see our fullbacks pushing up. That's 21 is who? Is it? It's not Kieran Trippier. It's Livramento. On the other side, 20 is Lewis Hall pushing up next to Gordon. And obviously, you got number 8 by himself. Tonali's protecting that back four, which has encouraged 5 and 3. Shah and Burn to push up, which has encouraged Bruno in the 39 to support. Bruno, Murphy, and Gordon to surround number 14 almost. Isak. And again, that work, that intensity has been improved. So the combination, the contribution of all three of these things, our intensity coming back, the tactical adjustments that credit to Eddie Howe has made in putting Tonali in that number 6 role, and our big time players, our needle movers, Isak, Gordon, and Gomes, up in their form and improving, and that has added to the overall confidence in the team. And the ripple effect of that, we've talked about it before. This is the territorial map. You'll find it on Opta Analyst. What is this? For the folks that might not be familiar with this, the territorial map shows where a team has dominance overall on the pitch. And if you see the pink, if you see the pink highlights, it shows where the opposition. So this is going from left to right, by the way. So left to right. So I've shown you 2 now. This is October the 7th, 2024, when we first did this, and to 24th of December for Newcastle United. So this is 2 months now, the difference here. So the pink highlights show where the opposition has 55% or more possession or touches on the ball on the pitch. So that's where they have the dominance. That's what indicates territorial dominance. The grey areas show where it's about 50-50. where that's spread around a little bit. And the purple areas show where we, Newcastle United, have territorial dominance on the pitch. And the improvement you see, for instance, if you look at in October 2024, particularly in that final third, we were struggling with creativity, with key passes, with a quality passes in the final third, of shot creating actions, shots on target, all these type of things. You can see the opposition, the pink here in front of the goal, the central areas in particularly. The opposition have dominance over Newcastle United. Newcastle United were not getting into the opposition box. In fact, our touches in the opposition box were significantly lower to what they were now. And in fact, other areas were also open to a lot more to be contested as well, which includes the midfield where it was a lot more 50-50, which left Newcastle a lot more vulnerable to counter-attacks and quick transitions from teams, which hurt us as well. We had some dominion in front of our goal, but it was to no avail, really, in terms of how we were performing at the time. So it was very, very mediocre, as opposed to what it is right now in December 2024. Let me remove this so it makes a little bit more sense and you can see it. Actually, I shouldn't have done that maybe. But if you can remember in the last one, we'll look at the purple areas. That's Newcastle from left to right, by the way. So Newcastle have a lot more dominion in front of teams' goals in the central areas outside of it. That's where you see Bruno, you see Joe Linton pushing up, you see Tonali pushing up at times as well, and you can see also in the penalty box and on the left and right flank, Murphy, which includes obviously Murphy and Livramento on one side, and on the other side you see Gordon Hall and Joe Linton on the other side as well, joining up as well. A lot more dominion in those type of areas as well. And obviously in front of our goal, we've got a little bit in our penalty box, we have a lot more dominion as opposed to what happened in the previous in the first kind of couple of months, where oppositions were getting into our box a lot more. So we have a lot more dominion within our box, and it's a lot more contested in front of our box as well. You can't be purple everywhere. Only Liverpool kind of are able to achieve that, which shows you kind of the level and quality. But again, Newcastle are improving, are showing in that. And I think them. If you this isn't this, I don't think this includes them. This doesn't include the Man United game. This might not include the Villa game either. So I can foresee a lot more purple areas, for instance, as a result. If these were to be added, and I'm sure, should this form continue, we'll see a lot more purple areas in front of the opposition goal, but also in front of ours as well. So Newcastle are doing really, really well, and I keep on mentioning touches in the box. Why it's so important and what it's done, because it's a huge indicator of how well a team is doing in their attacking, their approach play, their quality of passing as well. Like I said, today was 19 touches in the box, Man United, which is a lot lower what we've been doing, but Man United had a good defensive side against Leicester, against Aston Villa, against the other four teams were 35 plus touches in the opposition box. And in fact, you see from the Brentford game, the League Cup game, we had 40 touches in their opposition box compared to their 26. So not only are we having more touches in the opposition box, but teams are having way less touches in our box too, which is a good indicator. It's a good metric. And if you continue playing like that, it's a good metric to show that, hey, we're playing well and we're more likely to score and creating opportunities as opposed to the opposition. Against Leicester, we had 54 touches in their box. They had 10. Against Brentford, and actually that was Brentford in the league. We had more touches in the box. Brentford in the League Cup, we had 35 touches in their box to their 23. Against Ipswich, away to Ipswich, we had 35 shots in there. We had 35 touches in their box compared to their 20. And against Villa, we had 49 touches in their box compared to their 9. And that obviously shows why we beat them 3-0. So Newcastle on so many metrics, touches in the opposition box, ground duels, goals scored, expected goals against, goals conceded, the number of saves a goalkeeper has to make. So defensively, offensively, Newcastle are very, very, very much on an upward trajectory and doing really, really, really well. And so we want to be able to continue that. We want to be able to continue that. And we're going to, I want to mention, um, I was meant to have a certain, I was meant to have, let me get this, man, before I show you, but I want to, because now before I get into, I want to be able to, we want to be able to continue this form, don't we? We want to be able to maintain this after 19 games. We want to be able to continue this particular trajectory. So how are we going to do that? Before we get into that, I think I've got a comment maybe or two to read, but I want to, there's a face I was supposed to get an image of, and it's important because there's a couple faces, because there's a couple of things that obviously we want to, I want to talk about to be able to kind of explain what's going to be important for the next 19 games forward as well, because we want to talk a little bit about the future, not too far ahead though, obviously, because who knows what would happen. But the other, I talked about 3 contributing factors to our upturn in form: our big players turning up, tactical changes, Tonali going into the 6, Bruno moving up into the 8, and obviously our overall intensity improving. And the key thing is going to be to continue that and to maintain that for Newcastle, obviously. And we've seen the effects of that, of their performances, not only in goals and assists, and other metrics that we mentioned as well: territorial dominance in opposition boxes, less territorial dominance of opposition in our boxes, doing really well. But there's other factors as well, just outside, that are not on the field, that have contributed and also need to contribute to Newcastle's continued performance, to kind of continued success in the next 19 games. But before I do that, I think I've got one comment to read here. Benjamin Maven, good evening to you, sir. God bless. Hope you are well. Love the content, Phil. Well done. I appreciate you for that, Benjamin. It means a lot when people say that. I do hope you guys are enjoying the content. Again, you could be anywhere in the world as well, but you guys are here, and it's important to me to hear that you guys are enjoying the content. So this is the gentleman that I wanted to mention in terms of off the field stuff. Obviously, James Bunce. I mentioned in a previous show, I think there was a stat that came out from the I newspaper where they said that our injuries had reduced by 33% since James Bunce came in. And you can see that in the handling of various kind of injuries and stuff as well. Since that, obviously, Wilson obviously came off again with a hamstring injury. Pope got injured, I think, with an impact injury as well. And I forgot somebody else. But these are players, in particularly Callum Wilson, who we know are particularly injury-prone players. But having our players out in the field, we've had Tonali, Bruno, our big players, Gordon, Isak, and others, but especially Isak and others. I think Isak's played every game as well. And keeping those guys on the pitch on a consistent basis has got us to our success, but has continued our success. And so it's very, very important that Newcastle continue on this trajectory as well. And so James Bunce, I want to be able to give him his flowers. I'm sure he's and his applause as well. But I'm sure we're going to continue on with it as well, in terms of having him there, keeping the players fit, keeping the players fresh, being there, kind of ensuring that our big players, all our players, are ready and fit to come on the pitch when we need them. And our bench, it was looking good today. Willock on the bench, for instance, Barnes on the bench. Livermore started off on the bench as well. That is all important and good to see for us in terms of what we're doing. So that is important. That's not what we had last season. And that's what really hurt us in terms of our form going forward. The other thing, I'm not going to go into it too deeply because it will go into a whole other stream itself, is going to be this man, Paul Mitchell. It's going to be our transfer business going into this. I said I'm not going to go into it, but I've got a whole lineup ready for this. Going into this transfer window, getting players for Newcastle United. But I think the important thing, as I kind of keep on stressing, and what journalists keep on stressing as well, is that it's going to be really about sales. But from what journalists are saying, and you might guys not be able to see this, Chris Ward said it today. I think the newspapers have also say, I think Craig Hope maybe today said it as well. I didn't get to see it in detail. But Newcastle are reported to be really focused on finding a right winger and a centre back. Are the key positions that Newcastle are looking to strengthen. Whether that's going to happen in January in the summer is a different story. But I want to be able to say that if Newcastle can add to this momentum by bringing players in, it will do incredible amount for this season. I want to be able to quickly show the lineups. I didn't get a chance to fully to do it because obviously because just after the game, but to kind of show what I mean and share. If Newcastle can add, I know that Newcastle, the important thing, I keep on stressing this, is that, hey, we need to sell players. We need to make sure we are on the right side of PSR. I don't agree with the PSR of how it's set up and what it's doing, but these are the rules and this is how the game is supposed to be played at the moment. And we have to play it correctly. We weren't doing that in the previous window. Hence why it was called a not fit for purpose transfer window. And look, obviously, I started here with Gordon. We've got our teams here. Gordon on the left, Barnes on the bench. We want to make the additions, obviously, to our front line. We've got Isak already, obviously playing. Isak. Now we have obviously Usola on the bench, but he's young and he's inexperienced. And obviously Newcastle are looking at the possibility of, for instance, of signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But I'm going to look at the priority areas that Newcastle are really, really focused on. Is in that right wing position. Obviously, Almiron is the big one that people are looking at to get moved on. Look, it would be great to have someone. I don't know who the next right wing player is going to be. Obviously, we heard news about Bakayoko. We heard news about Tyler Diblin. I'm just going to put Diblin for an example. If he were to come in this January, he would, in fact, let me just for the picture. Obviously, Diblin won't be starting. It will be Murphy. It will be Murphy that will be starting. But if just to kind of highlight what it would do for Newcastle if we were to able to either bring him on, to have him compete, to have his the magic, the unpredictability that a player of his age can bring, his athleticism, his dribbling ability. He's got a really kind of a Palmer / Kulusevski type of profile, in my opinion. Let me put Jacob Murphy back on here on the bench, for instance. But it's not to say that he, it's just to say, look, let's see. Yeah, here we go. Diblin Murphy, for instance, adding that fresh legs. Imagine Diblin next to Isak, next to Gordon, coming on in the last 15, 20 minutes of a game will be absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, we keep our midfield is our strongest part at the moment, even though I don't know if you guys saw the news today, Longstaff, Newcastle aren't necessarily actively looking to sell him. They've extended his contract to 2026. However, they have notified folks that, look, guys, I think it's Leicester, Everton. You guys, if you guys come in with a particular offer, maybe something between 20 to 30 mil, that's someone we can sell. Our midfield is a very strong part in terms of depth at the moment. Obviously, Joe Linton Willock, for instance. In the middle, we've got Bruno. Well, in fact, we've got Bruno. I'll put Bruno here. Bruno is number 8 now, but and Miley being excellent. Longstaff obviously is there as well, adding to that depth. But we're always looking to improve, and that's our strongest part. That's why it's not necessarily the part that we're looking to strengthen necessarily. Who's on the right side? It's Tonali. It's Tonali here. Brilliant. Bench, Longstaff. Longstaff obviously wants to play. He wants to get out there. Can we get 25, 30 million for Longstaff? That'll be brilliant play. We've got that depth there. And then obviously left back, the one and only Lewis Hall. At the moment, we've got a selection of players as Target as well. Can we get Target to move on? He's been a wonderful servant to the club, but maybe it's time for him to move on. I'll put Target, though it is also Kelly as well. Can we get Botman back? And this one I'm going to put Botman back and healthy because James Bunce has revitalized him. Burn on the bench, but being the veteran that he is. Now, the other conversations, I don't know if you guys saw, for instance, today, the news that Abdul Qadir Kosanov, Newcastle, according to, I think, Graham Bailey, Newcastle and Tottenham, have both opened up talks with Abdul Qadir Kosanov. A really good review was done, scouting report was done by Antonio Mango Kosanov. I'll mention him. I say, imagine Kosanov starts for us here. He's tall, he's athletic, pacey, he's aggressive, proactive, has a lot of dominion. He's actually recorded as the fastest player currently in the French league. He's only like 0.5 kilometers or something like that slower than Van de Ven. You know, he's 20 years old. He's burst into the scene. It would be great to have this type of player. Imagine Kosanov there, you know, having that kind of youth, Livramento. And obviously on the bench currently, I've got Trippier, but Trippier is also up for sale. And taking his wages off will be a big thing. For now, I'll put Kraft, but I'd want Trippier to stay for the rest of the season if we could. I'll take Kraft. I'll keep Trips. But if we can keep Trips, it'd be excellent, though he's up for sale as well. Can we get 10, 15 million for him? And obviously, we've got Pope and Dubravka. Dubravka doing really well. But, you know, the added bonus, obviously, is we've been speaking about the possibility of what's his name? Trafford playing, coming in as well. So just imagine this. It's just being able to keep the momentum going for Newcastle United is the stuff that we're doing off the field. So we're talking about the medical stuff, but we're also talking about the transfers. Can we get a Diblin in to add to the attacking output as well, to kind of continue with that, you know, when it's in the last 20, 25 minutes of the game, bringing him on, for instance, in this season, and kind of seeing him develop and challenge Murphy and to grow into that role, be that person to play alongside your Isaks and Gordons. That would be really, really exciting. Can we get a Kosanov, a very 6'1", extremely quick, fast player, aggressive, got a real who loves defending, playing alongside our Botman as well, adding to that steel, that wall, that black and white wall. Will be absolutely exceptional. Can we get these type of deals done? It'll be absolutely incredible. And I think it will lead us to almost completing the first phase. And I'll talk about what that means a bit later in another show of our build, of our rebuild. At the moment, kind of these are the players that would really raise the roof, really raise the ceiling, for Newcastle United, in my opinion. So can we kind of add to that momentum? I mean, for heavens, if we add a Trafford and a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for instance, as a centre forward, I think that would complete our floor raising part of the process of the team. In my opinion, I think we're just 4 players away from doing that. But can we maybe half that? Can we get 2 players in? Diblin, for instance, like I said, we're looking for a right wing forward. Can we get Diblin, right centre back? Kosanov would be excellent. You know, maybe 50 million for both of them would be absolutely incredible. And move on some of our players, whether it's, Almiron, Trippier, Longstaff, and get some money back and be on the right side of the be on the right side of that PSR. So it's going to take not just on the field stuff, but off the field stuff to be able to do that. So to keep Newcastle kind of in that space, continuing that positive momentum. So that's what I'm looking at as well for Newcastle to continue that. And finally, look, finally, like I said, we were 8th at the start of this. We're obviously 5th now, doing really, really well. I want to, 9 games won, 5 draws, 5 defeats, 31, 32 goals, 21 conceded, 11 goal difference, doing really, really well. Again, the next games are going to be pivotal. We've just beaten Man United today. Another crossover game. Can we continue it? Can we get into the Champions League spot? We've got Tottenham on Saturday. Gives us about, 4 or 5 days break. Really good for Newcastle United. Going away to Tottenham, who are struggling themselves. Can we notch up another win? Can we notch up another win? And kind of, maybe, again, add more distance between some of our rivals in Man United, Tottenham, and others for that Champions League spot. I know there's Forest and there's those guys, Bournemouth as well. We're going to catch them as well. They're going to be playing against us at St. James's Park. Can we keep that momentum? Arsenal, then we've got that League Cup semi-final, exciting. First starts away at Arsenal. Can we come away there with a draw? Or even if we're a goal back, just a goal behind, can we stay? Can we, or even more fantastically, can we beat them away at Arsenal and come and beat them at St. James's Park and get to the final? That would add that. Then we're really roaring. We're roaring forward in the league. We're roaring forward in the cup competitions, doing really well. Followed up by the Bromley game as well. And maybe by then, by the 12th of January, we've got a Diblin, we've got a Kosanov. We'll have players to come on, maybe even a Botman as well, starting up as well. We've got some. Can we get some of our academy players in and then continuing that form, and progressing through the third round of the FA Cup, progressing through into the League Cup as well, and our form as well. So there's a lot there for Newcastle there. So guys, in conclusion, Newcastle. Before I kind of get into the conclusion, I've got one more comment here. David Veitch, good to see you, sir. Good evening. God bless. I have waited many years to see the Toon destroy Man U at their rusty, mouse-infested rust bucket. And you've seen it. We've seen it. It was glorious to see. It was absolutely glorious to see and well-deserved from Newcastle United. But look, in conclusion of today's show, guys, speaking of Man United, we reviewed the Man United game. Total dominance on every metric, not just the goal metric, but in terms of ground duels, possession. Well, they had the better possession, but shots on target, touches in the box, just doing the right things, especially in that first 25, 30 minutes. The game was already over. Brilliant performance from us, professional performance. Another clean sheet. What's that? 7 clean sheets. We're like 3rd or 4th in the league for clean sheets now as well. 1 away from Liverpool and I think Forest maybe. Doing absolutely excellent. And we did a mid-season checkup. Newcastle are improving in most metrics, in both in offensive and defensively. I feel that we can go on. There's another gear in us to go to another gear in us, both offensively and defensively, to improve on what we're doing already. And that's what excites me about Newcastle United. What's contributed to the upturn in form is obviously our key players, our ceiling movers, our needle movers, in Gordon, Isak, and Bruno performing well. Our intensity returning to our game. It's been really incredible. Our ground users have been improving as well. That's part of that intensity of our game. And third and finally, what did I say was the third part? The tactical change. And Tonali coming back into the number 6, Bruno pushing up into the advanced areas, has breathed confidence into the centre backs to push up, has breathed confidence into the midfield to also support the attack, and the attack being supported by everybody, which has seen an increase in goals towards the opposition, but a decrease also in goals and shots against Newcastle, which has been important. But we don't want that just to be for now. We want that to be able to continue. And the stuff that's contributed to it so far, keeping players on the pitch, James Bunce, and now Paul Mitchell. Can Paul Mitchell do his magic in January? I'm not asking for the world. We know that primarily what's going to be important for Newcastle United is to sell players, to keep us on that right side of the PSR so we're not suffering come summer. But can we add maybe one, maybe two players, that right wing forward, maybe a Dibbling, for instance, and that right centre back in the Kusanov, to add that fresh blood, add that fresh impetus in the squad to encourage that momentum that we've got going forward. And the next couple of games are going to, again, as always, it's crunch time for Newcastle United. We've beaten Man United, we've beaten Aston Villa, the teams that we expect to be around us, fighting for those Champions League European spots. We've been beating them. We've got Tottenham next. It's important that we also go there, perform, and hopefully get a positive result. That's followed up by two competitions, the semi-final against Arsenal. Can we come away with a victory against Arsenal? And then we can really look forward to that St. James's Park return leg. Can we qualify, get into that final again, second time in 3 years, and finally get our hands on that trophy and act like we belong there, by the way. Act like we belong there. Stop crying and talking about it's been 70 years. Forget all of that. This is a new Newcastle. This is a trophy winning Newcastle, a European competing Newcastle. And that's what I'm hoping for as well. And look, so can Paul Mitchell add with a Dibbling, with a Kusanov to add to that, and those important games that we've got coming in, having that extra competition in the squad. So look, all in all, it's been absolutely fantastic from Newcastle United, where we're going and what we're doing. I'm super, super happy. We need to maintain that, keep players fit, keep our big players performing, keep the intensity, keep, obviously Eddie Howe, huge credit to him for him keeping the team together through the good times and the bad times, through the negative external influences as well, shielding and guarding the players. You saw the positive report that Gordon had. I'm here till the end of my I'm loving it here. Every time we perform well, it's going to go somewhere else. I'm at a top club. You are at a top club, Anthony Gordon. And that's exactly where you are. You are at a top club. And we're acting as one. Can we also add to that momentum in the transfer window is what we want to see. And so I'm hugely, hugely positive. It's a real positive mid-season checkup from me. The main thing now is to continue that. Like I said, I think we've got one or two more gears to go offensively and offensively in our game. And I think we can do something in the transfer window, hopefully. Though I understand the restrictions and what we're trying to do. Totally get that. Let's see what Paul Mitchell... We've seen what James Bunce can do. Let's see what Paul Mitchell can do. I've got one more comment here, folks, before I wrap up. But again, huge hands up and credit to Eddie Howe and to the team and to the boys and to the fans. We've all been here. We've stuck it through for the team. We've been absolutely exceptional. Finally, Aaron Cave, good evening and God bless you, sir. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Good to see you, sir. Evening, Philip. Massive result today. Absolutely massive. Can't stress that enough. Felt like a mature performance. That's exactly what it was. It was a mature performance from us. The way we handled Man United, especially in that second half, just contained them, kept them away from us. They tried to pack that midfield as well. Fine. We did our thing and we did well. Super, super, super happy for how Newcastle United performed. I hope you guys are too. So, guys, that's the game review. That's the mid-season checkup. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for sharing this evening with me. This is the last show of 2024. For all of you guys that made it over here, I hope you have a blessed end to the year and you have an incredibly fruitful and blessed 2025. This channel is going from strength to strength as a result of you guys just coming in, engaging, being supportive, being good to each other as well, especially in the comment section. I really, really appreciate you guys for that. I hope you guys enjoy what's left of your evening. I hope you guys enjoy what's left of your 2024, and I hope your 2025 for you and your families is even better. And until next time, guys, take care and God bless, folks.